Tyson Fury, a man without the typical chiseled boxer's physique, his journey to becoming one of the greatest heavyweights was far from easy. After early struggles, he shocked the world by dethroning Vladimir Klitschko, but his rise quickly spiraled into mental health battles and addiction. But a stunning trilogy fight against Deontay Wilder saw him become one of the most loved and inspirational athletes on the planet, becoming a mental health role model across the globe. But over the last couple of years, those same fans who loved him started to dislike him. So what went wrong for Fury, and how did it all fall apart? Born in 1988, Tyson Fury was a premature baby weighing less than a pound. But his dad, John Fury, also an ex-professional boxer, named him after Mike Tyson and vowed he'd become a world champion. By 10, Fury was boxing, and by 14, he stood 6'4" and weighed 14 stone. His first coach, Steve Egan, predicted he'd be world champion, and by 2007, Fury was winning medals. Although he missed the Olympics, his amateur record was impressive: 31 wins, 26 by knockout. Turning pro at 20, Fury started with 7 straight knockouts, eventually winning the English heavyweight title after a controversial win over John McDermott. Fury's unbeaten streak continued. His defense, recovery, and confidence kept him undefeated as he climbed the boxing ranks. In 2014, Tyson Fury cemented his place as a top contender by defeating Derek Chisora for the second time and dismantling Christian Hammer with a corner stoppage. These wins earned him the shot of a lifetime, a crack at the WBA, IBF, and WBO heavyweight belts held by the unstoppable Vladimir Klitschko. Klitschko was a titan: 22 straight wins over 11 years, 19 consecutive title defenses. The challenge couldn't get bigger. On November 28, 2015, in Dusseldorf, Germany, Fury stepped into the ring as a massive underdog. What followed was shocking. Fury nullified Klitschko's devastating right hand by refusing to stand still, constantly feinting, jabbing, and clinching. He made Klitschko look ordinary, outboxing the champion over 12 rounds to claim a unanimous decision victory. It wasn't the prettiest fight, but it secured Fury's place in boxing history. The win made Fury the unified heavyweight champion with the IBA, WBA, and WBO titles. But as he reached the top, fame and fortune led him into a dark chapter of his life. After defeating Klitschko, Tyson Fury's life spiraled out of control. Back in the UK, he turned to alcohol and drugs, battling depression as his weight soared past 400 pounds. His days were filled with binge drinking and overeating, while his career and personal life unraveled. Although a rematch with Klitschko was scheduled for summer 2016, a training injury delayed the fight. The situation worsened when both Fury and his cousin Hughie were charged with nandrolone use by UK anti-doping. That summer, Fury's struggles became public as he toured Europe during England's Euro 2016 campaign, partying heavily and drawing attention for his wild behaviour, far from the disciplined champion he once was. In October 2016, Fury's rematch was cancelled after testing positive for coke, and I don't mean the drink. His mental health hit rock bottom. Struggling with junk food binges, daily drinking, and suicidal thoughts, he vacated his titles, stating he couldn't defend them. His mental health continued to decline, pushing him to the brink. In a dark moment of depression, Fury contemplated ending his life by crashing his Ferrari, but a voice urged him to think of his family. He turned around, sought therapy for his depression, and found solace in prayer. This moment marked the beginning of his incredible comeback. He often says that the Klitschko fight was the worst thing to happen to his mental health. "I had everything I ever wanted: fame, glory, achievements, money, a family, and yet it meant nothing. I wanted to die on a daily basis. I was waking up and didn't want to be alive. I was making everyone else's life a misery. Everybody was close to me. I couldn't pinpoint what was wrong." All Fury ever wanted to be was the heavyweight champion of the world. So when that happened, he felt like he had no purpose in life anymore. By 2017, Fury accepted a backdated 2-year ban for doping, and by early 2018, he was cleared to fight again under trainer Ben Davison. Fury shed 150 pounds, breaking free from destructive habits and making an inspiring return to boxing. Fury's return to the ring began with a bang. In June 2018, he fought and defeated Sefer Seferi in Manchester, securing his first win since his triumph over Klitschko. He followed this up with a dominant performance against Francesco Pianeta, proving he was ready to face one of the most dangerous heavyweights of his generation, WBC champion Deontay Wilder. Wilder had been seen devastating opponents, a boxer with one of the strongest punches boxing had ever seen. It could have been a very dangerous matchup for Fury. In December 2018, despite being outboxed by Fury for most of the fight, Wilder's right hand completely floored Fury in the 12th round. It seemed there was no chance he would get up, but somehow he did. Though the fight ended in a draw, many fans claimed it was a robbery, stating Fury easily won. It was clear to the boxing world Fury was back, showcasing his resilience and re-establishing himself as an elite heavyweight. Fury followed up with dominant wins over Tom Schwartz and Otto Wallin, setting up a highly anticipated rematch with Wilder at the MGM Grand. This time, Fury dropped Wilder twice and forced a 7th-round stoppage to claim the WBC heavyweight title, completing one of boxing's greatest comebacks. This comeback saw Tyson become increasingly more inspirational in the boxing world.
I didn't think I'd go anywhere apart from a padded room. That's how down I was. So to be here now a couple of years later after that, it's not only a miracle but a blessing from God as well. After only 2 years ago, being on the verge of suicide and being as low as any man can go, to being on the biggest stage in the world with the world watching. If that ain't a miracle and a turnaround and a true show that anybody can come back from anything, then I don't know what is.
Despite pandemic delays and some reluctance, the trilogy fight with Wilder finally took place in October 2021. It became an epic battle, with both fighters hitting the canvas. But in the 11th round, Fury sealed his victory with a devastating right hand, solidifying his place as the top heavyweight. To this day, the Fury vs. Wilder saga is considered one of the best boxing trilogy in history. It cemented his status as one of the greatest fighters of his time, but just like after his monumental win over Vladimir Klitschko, Fury's time at the top didn't last without turbulence. Controversial public statements began to surface, sparking widespread criticism. Videos of him being kicked out of pubs and acting erratically started circulating online, raising concerns about whether the Gypsy King was slipping off track again. Since the Wilder fight, Fury hasn't quite lived up to fans' expectations. Sure, he took care of Dylan White and Derek Chisora, but it's who he hasn't fought that's got everyone talking. Fans have been dying to see Fury face Anthony Joshua in an all-British showdown, or take on Alexander Usyk for the undisputed heavyweight title. But those fights just haven't happened. Fury and Usyk's negotiations turned into a messy public back and forth. Fury demanded a 70-30 split, no rematch clause, and other conditions. Usyk shockingly agreed to everything, but somehow the fight still fell apart. Then there was the drama with Joshua. Fury kept setting random deadlines for Joshua to sign contracts, only to pull the plug and rant about it on social media. Instead of fighting Usyk or Joshua, Fury chose to face former UFC champion Francis Ngannou, an MMA fighter with zero pro boxing experience. That decision didn't sit well with boxing fans or experts, many of whom accused Fury of ducking real competition, and many left wondering if the Gypsy King still had the same fire to take on the best in the game. A few months after the announcement of his fight with Francis Ngannou, Tyson Fury was brimming with confidence. He didn't just talk about beating Ngannou in boxing, he boldly claimed he could beat him in an MMA fight too, showing just how much he underestimated him. From the start, most boxing experts expected Fury to dominate, but the fight turned out to be far from one-sided. Ngannou, who had never boxed professionally before, dropped Fury in the 3rd round, leaving the unbeaten heavyweight champion looking humiliated. Fury was lucky to survive the rest of the fight, but in the end he won by a controversial split decision, keeping his unbeaten record intact. However, his bruised and bloody face told a different story. There's a good way to describe his performance. He may have won the boxing match, but he lost the fight. At ringside that night, Alexander Usyk, the other unbeaten heavyweight champion, sat with a smile on his face, holding a contract for a fight with Fury. Just a month later, the highly anticipated match between the two was confirmed. In the lead-up to their fight, Fury couldn't resist taking shots at Usyk, calling him a rabbit and belittling his size. He was as cocky as ever, suggesting the fight would be a walk in the park for him. But Usyk, true to form, wasn't bothered by Fury's taunts. He remained calm and focused. When the fight finally took place, it was a back-and-forth battle. The opening rounds were closely contested, but Usyk quickly took control with his aggressive style. As the fight wore on, Usyk's bold approach started to pay off, and in the 9th round, he scored a knockdown, nearly ending the fight. In the end, it was Usyk who came out on top, winning by split decision and handing Fury his first ever professional loss. And it's fair to say, Fury didn't handle the loss well. In his post-match interview, he suggested that Usyk only won because his country was at war. He also wished fans Happy New Year in May. All this behaviour is what lost Fury a large chunk of his fan base, as he went from a mental health role model to a sore loser bully. After his loss to Usyk, Fury was quick to downplay the defeat, insisting that he won easily, despite most observers believing Usyk was the clear victor. Fury claimed Usyk only won 3 rounds, just as he had previously argued that Ngannou won only 2 rounds in their fight. These wild excuses only added to the growing perception that Fury was no longer the same fighter who had defeated Klitschko and Wilder. Worse still, Fury openly admitted that his priorities had shifted. He made it clear that money, not boxing glory, was his main goal.
Why are you still doing this?
For more money, and if I said anything different, I'd be lying. Even though I can't spend it, or I wouldn't spend it, I probably could if I wanted to, but I wouldn't. It's always for the poshes, more of them.
It all gets taxed anyways, doesn't it?
I know, so I'm doing my bit for society. I'm helping all the people who don't have money. Doing my bit for them as well. Giving back until the wheels fall off this bit, like Roy Jones said.
From around...
I could have stopped many times, and I was pretty much in a position to stop a long time ago, but I didn't, and I won't. I'm very happy what I'm doing. I love this game.
For Fury, it seems money now matters more than gold, signalling the end of his time at the top. With a second fight against Usyk on the horizon, the WBC, WBA and WBO belts are all on the line, but Fury's lack of enthusiasm suggests he's not as invested as fans had hoped. Despite his unpredictability over a 16-year career, Fury may struggle to find the answers this time. Whatever the outcome of Fury versus Usyk 2, his career has been nothing short of entertaining.